Live streaming is on.
After the party is the after party. Welcome back, everybody. I am your host. Right with me, is always, we got the lovely Material Life,
What's good, y'all?
and of course, we have Father with us. I don't know if he's there, but anyway. So about B, what we about to get into today is that 7 years ago that I got into a Facebook debate with someone, a divester of all people, a big back divester that was praising white man, and it was just like uh shitting on black man. And I remember like doing like looking like that. It's just like, is this how most women feel? It's just before I knew what divested was, but um do most of black women felt this way and all that other stuff. And I was thinking, yo, I should really do a video on this. And this is like one of the few times. And the funny thing is, like when I was doing this, I didn't have like no film classes. So this is basically just me doing this on my own and then just setting up all the cameras and all that other stuff and then setting up a room just so I could get this done. So therefore it birthed this thing called this project that I did like 7 years ago that I technically never finished, but I posted it anyway because I felt like it was good stuff on there. And it's called Black Community, Where Are We Going? So that's the whole story behind this whole thing. So basically, in this story, I talked to a couple people because I did pull out. I told everybody that what I was doing. I set the date, and it's just like it was a long day thing. And whoever came through came through. I asked them these couple questions, and once I got all the stuff, that's when I started doing the editing thing. So what you about to see is just like a lot of people's opinions 7 years ago, and then most of these were just hot topics. So, uh, are you guys ready?
Ready?
All right. So, here, without further ado, here is Black Community. Where are we going?
Brandon Tillman,
Named Drake Coley.
Alana Thomas,
Wallace Aquino.
Ulysses Delaney, they call me Yuli.
Clarence Gross.
Jasmine Gross.
Also, let me know if you can hear it fine.
I mean, not just
I see that as a broad question because there's a lot that takes place in it. There's a lot you can say is negative. There's a lot that you can say is positive at the same exact time.
The black community just, to me, lacks a lot of respect for each other because it's always
Yeah. background.
so quick.
What'd you say?
Is there a background sound?
Some background music.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it's on here. It sounds so low or what? But like the
You know,
background.
it's I know it sounds low here, but I don't know why.
But I know when I listened to the video, when I not listen, but when I first clicked on it, I could swear I could hear them. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Let me see. Uh,
To get on somebody else talking about black people or
That's better.
that's better.
talking down about black people, but we never address the fact that we do the same exact thing to each other.
Our community, there ain't too much to say about it except for the simple fact that as black people and me as a black man, we supposed to be able to communicate.
Unguided, miseducated, misinformed.
Being born here, I would think that because of my skin color, I'd be cool with other black kids. But, I was also African, so I had a certain look to me. I didn't look like black kids, even though I was black myself.
Well, the black community is a very torn community in comparison to other communities in America?
I feel like the Black community is in shambles. I feel like some places and some communities, some different parts of our community are established.
I said the same to one of my friends not too long ago, and they thought I was being funny about it. Don't you know how people say everyone want to be chief but not enough Indians? Well, in our day and age, everyone wants to be a slave owner and not a free man.
We have that attitude where people owe us something, and we don't support each other. And we support a white guy before we put our own. I remember walking in the hood telling my seniors $2. That dude told me, nah, nigga, give it to me for free. But he bought just 10 seats for $16.
The Black community they don't respect each other. They only really stand up for each other once someone else kills one of them.
Of course, you have your alumni, your people that go to Howard that are one way, and then you have the other side of the community who are drug dealers and are just stuck in that life.
And it's just a lot of self-hate, and it just needs to be stopped.
You see a growth rather in the want for knowledge. Like there is a hunger for knowledge, not just like, oh, it's a book, I can look at it. That's not like, no, they really want to know now.
Some positive things are that certain kinds, like people here, I know are more than willing to help each other. So like they will go out of their way to help somebody. I feel like another positive thing about Black people is that they are very bright and strong people just naturally.
First of all, Black people, we're a dominant race, strong race, written through history. Math, pyramids, we did that.
What do you thinking so far, B? When you looking at this? Like, does anything stand out to you?
I thought this was still the intro.
I will say it. The only thing, like, as you can see, I call it a rough draft because I was supposed to put B-roll in this and all that other stuff, and I never did. So,
No, I really thought this was the intro. Like this was you us getting a pinpoint of like each person. Then eventually, like each person would sit down and like a conversation would be had. Or it was each person. I never got the question that there was asked. Like, because if where we going with the question, then each person is answering the question different. Like I felt like each question was different. I don't know.
well, the question was on the side. All of you.
Mm-mm. I missed it. Yeah, where are we going?
No.
Where
Right
are we
there.
going?
They're right there.
Oh, thought on the Black community. Oh,
Yeah. So, okay. So like I said, it's one of those.
I
Like,
missed that.
yeah. It's gonna be like that throughout the whole journey. That's why like it sounds different. So, I don't know. I guess like I said, it's
All over because I missed that. I thought this was the intro part. Each person was kind of like you took clips from like random spots and like okay, just to get people like how you see times they start with clips from random spots and like just to get an introduction of who each person is. But yeah,
yeah.
but then let's start all over because now that I realized the question, that's why I feel like everybody answers stuff differently. Okay, thought on the Black community. Okay, let's start over.
That's a broad. I see that as a broad question because there's a lot that takes place in it. There's a lot you can say is negative. There's a lot that you can say is positive at the same exact time.
The Black community just, to me, lacks a lot of respect for each other because we're always so quick to get on somebody else talking about Black people or talking down about Black people, but we never address the fact that we do the same exact thing to each other.
Our community, there ain't too much to say about it except for the simple fact that as black people and me as a black man, we supposed to be able to communicate.
Unguided, miseducated, misinformed.
Being born here, I would think that because of my skin color, I'd be cool with other black kids. But, I was also African, so I had a certain look to me. I didn't look like black kids, even though I was black myself.
Well, the black community is a very torn community in comparison to other communities in America.
I feel like the black community is in shambles. I feel like some places and some communities, some different parts of our community are established.
I said the same to one of my friends not too long ago, and they thought I was being funny about it. Don't you know how people say everyone wants to be chiefs but not enough Indians? Well, in our day and age, everyone wants to be a slave owner and not a free man.
We have that attitude where people owe us something, and we don't support each other. Like, we'll support a white guy when we support our own. I remember walking in the hood selling my CDs for $2. That dude told me, nah, nigga, give it to me for free. But he bought just Timberlake CDs for $16.
The black community they don't respect each other. They only really stand up for each other once someone else kills one of them.
Of course, you have your alumni, your people that go to Howard that are one way, and then you have the other side of the community who are drug dealers and are just stuck in that life.
And it's just a lot of self-hate, and it just needs to be stopped.
Okay, now that you kind of like see what is your thoughts now?
Oh, I said, wow, none of them gave a thought. That's crazy work. I did not get a person in that whole clip to give a thought of what the black community. They gave a bunch of clickbait. But and you could tell the difference between age range. I think there was one guy who might have been older, and so he experienced more versus some of the younger people. It was just what they But I don't think anybody gave a true thought of the black. They just give little spicks, black people are doing this, they don't really defend each other. What is your true thought about the black community? When you look at the black community as a whole, or either black people don't want to be too tough on their black people, but they pointing out just the obvious. No. There's a thought. There's really something you feel about the black community as a whole. What we're not doing. Why we haven't expanded yet. But I don't think any of them have went in depth because it's they're still being kind and not saying enough. Or it might just be because of the clips were cut short. So it was you found the best clips of what they said. So that's probably why it doesn't seem like any of them had a legit stop.
Okay. So here okay, so here's the next one. So this is where he was talking about the positive things that they see in the black community. So hopefully you get some answers out of that.
You see a growth rather in the want for knowledge. There is a hunger for knowledge, not just it's a book I can look at, that's nice. No, they really want to know now.
Some positive things are that certain kinds, people here are more than willing to help each other. So they will go out of their way to help somebody. I feel like another positive thing about black people is that they are very bright and strong people just naturally.
First of all, black people, we're a dominant race, strong race, written through history. Math, pyramids, we did that.
One really, really big positive about the black community is their ability to just persevere. Their ability to just keep standing up despite whatever the oppressors do to them. That is a strength that a lot of people don't have.
We're still building. We're still progressing. As you can tell, as history has tried to repeat itself, there has been numerous accounts where the African Americans, black, however they want to put us in what bubble they want to put us in, they can always throw something at us, but we will always find a way to get out that hole.
Positive is we are very ambitious. The ones that are ambitious are very ambitious. I feel like we're very creative. I feel like we make a lot of things cool. A lot of people like to follow our trends and, of course, make it like their own, but of course they know.
Well, positive things about the Black community is that we got a lot of spirit. We got a lot of spirituality. We can overcome things if we really put our mind to it.
Everything has pros and cons. There's negativity, but everybody in black community is not negative. You see what I'm saying? It's positive people. It's people that give back. It's people that preach to you. I go back to those sometimes. Take what I take from AI. Man, I tried that in the video.
There is a promotion of each other going on a lot now, which is good. You know, it's about time, because there was a time where everyone was secretive about everything.
You can tell us what we can't do, and because of the fact you told us what we can do, the Black community will always strive to outdo. There are many races where, I don't care, I'm a blunt individual. There are many races that look at the Black community as the hood, the wannabe suburb. But the problem is, you do know, if no one knows anything else, is the suburbs was once upon a time a hood.
And whatever the oppressors do to them, that is a strength that a lot of people don't have. Especially like a lot of people who you hear in history were dominated. Like when Rome was destroyed, it was destroyed. There wasn't no Romans coming back from that. But Black people from like genocide and slavery and all that, we just kept getting up and we kept getting more powerful in a sense. Even though we were still oppressed as we are today, we're still getting more powerful as the day goes by. As little as it may seem, we're still, bulking ourselves up.
There's a lot.
What do you think about that?
No, this is better. They all spoke about the positives, which is really good. Who is this guy right here? This one with all this excitement and happiness.
That's Brandon.
This guy right here, he's hopeful. Very hopeful. I was like, man, he's so excited about being a part of the Black community.
I'm telling him you said that too.
You know what's funny? He's a fucking introvert. He's a very, very solid mind, and he's a very thoughtful person. But like, he just don't like being in front of cameras. All
the energy. I was, man, he's so happy about the Black community. I'm like, what? Let's see what they think about it. This was 7 years ago. Let's see what they think about it now. Like all these thoughts that they had back then. And I know one person on there that ain't thinking the same way. Like, it'll be a shift. But I was like, this one right here is happy. One, I felt like one could be an activist. Like one gave me activist vibes. Like I was like, oh, okay, I could see it.
Which one gave you activist vibes?
I think he had like a blue shirt underneath his suit or whatever. Like at one point he was just like, it was like he wanted to be a marching in front of something, just marching and like, Black Lives Matter and all that. And I was like, yeah, I could see him there. But this is good. I felt like a lot of the positive things that they spoke on definitely is like the positives of being part of the Black community. Because in a Black community, it could either go up or it could go down. Like it's never really that much of an in between. If you're in a mix of a bunch of like Black community who just don't want to do nothing with their life, whatever the case may be, yeah, all dragging down. But if you're with a bunch of intellectual minds, people who want drive, who have intention and stuff like, everyone's gonna be moving up. It's hard because Black people once they like grab onto you, they want you to be right there with them. They're taking you with them. So we are the blueprint. We set up the stage. We create how things are gonna flow. So there's like way more positive. I just wish they had gave me a thought of what they really truly feel about the Black community.
Well, you might get something here with the negative. So this is where they talk about the negative. So let's see what they say.
Of me syndrome. There's having a me and I syndrome going on, which is not good. Like, it's nice to have that at times when you absolutely need it, but we have it too often.
We rather hate on each other because of what we got. We rather hate on each other because of the way we live. But instead, we supposed to be with each other. Everyone wants to own somebody. Everybody wants to own something instead of working with each other to make things happen.
They don't really believe in themselves, which is a downfall. And they don't try to find motivation to do things. They just give up so easily because they feel like a person who has more credentials than them is always going to be ahead.
Negative is, like I said before, we don't stand together. We very close-minded in the Black community. Like for example, reading books, being educated. In a lot of places, the Black community is seen as white. Speaking clearly is considered white. Using big words is seen as being white or something negative. That's negative.
Now, with that being said, there's a lot of weaknesses, and it's strange because the weaknesses that the Black community has is not entirely their fault. They were conditioned, they were castrated, they were basically programmed to think a certain way, especially since birth. Because as you remember, slave masters used to look after slave children. They used to just like take the slave children and indoctrinate them and make them see certain things or make them experience certain things.
We're stuck. I'm gonna give you some facts. Black people, we're the number one consumer. We got the number $1. We ain't spend $1 for one day. The world went into depression. Jewish people, they dollar changes each other's hands to community 12 times. So that means the dollar go through 12 times to that community before it leaves. But Black people, not even one time. We don't have businesses. We don't support each other. Like, we gotta have something.
The negative thing about our community is we are like crabs in a barrel, especially in the DMV area. I find it a lot of people are like crabs in a barrel where they like to pull each other down. As soon as they see somebody putting DC on the map, it's, oh, they're lame. For example, Wale, when he was putting us on the map, a lot of people, oh, he's a bitch. Oh, I'd seen him backstage at the club. They was bitching him and they was just doing whatever to him. He was letting it slide. And I'm like, what this man is trying to do for his city. Oh, he's not from DC for real. He's from Montgomery County. So what difference does that make? Like, you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the only reason I believe the crab in the barrel mentality is because the crab is not naturally in a barrel.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
You know, I think the music, it got to go lower.
I don't remember it being. I think it. I don't know, because I remember like when I was doing this, I made sure, and I always try to make sure you hear the people over you hear the music. And sometimes I have the music low, and I don't know because I do remember I had a shotgun mic and it was literally over their heads. So
Like, I can hear them, but the music is definitely overshadowing them a lot. But I agree with them on the negative. Like, the Black community does have this weird crab in the barrel type mentality. And like, and it's so weird that we have that, which I don't even understand why we do that. Where we have this thing where we feel like if we give somebody the opportunity, that then we'll lose out. But they never see it as if like, well, you wasn't qualified for the opportunity, so why not give somebody else the opportunity than to have some other race come in and take the opportunity, and then you definitely start losing out because you ain't gonna have nobody to advocate for you. But then again, they feel like, well, they can't trust nobody. Like if somebody has a master's degree and the job requires somebody to have a master's degree and you only have an associate's degree, why would you not, and you know somebody who has a master's degree, why would you not tell them about this opportunity and then for them to move up in the role, and then eventually they could probably take you up. But no, they're like, nah. If I give them this opportunity, then they're gonna be more better than I'm like that. Like a crab in a barrel. But when you look at other races, they don't think like that. Black people, it's like they fear to use nepotism or they fear to use any type of ability to get them ahead, feeling like they have to all struggle to get there. If you didn't struggle to get there, then it's not. Then you didn't really get there.
I think the reason why I've always said this because he said something. It was just like the bucket is not the crabs in the barrel. It's like the barrel is not the crab's natural habitat. So of course he's going to try to get himself out. It's just without thinking. But that was one thing he said. I don't know if you heard it, but it's I have to rewind it. But also with that pertaining, I feel like everything that was said for black people that we got to work twice as hard to get half of what the white people get. Only a few of us get out, and it gives this competitive vibe that like, especially the whole only a few of us get out, where like I'm competing and like I'm successful, but if he's successful too, or he's going to take my money, or he's going to take my job and all that stuff, and to where it's just like, if we work, there's plenty of money for all of us. If we work together, we can all see plenty of money. And I feel like that's what the Jews did, because anytime when like Jews do something, they say, "I know a guy," and that guy is also a Jew, and he's like he knows a guy that knows a guy, and all that money just goes into the community, to which they can share and grow wealth upon the community like that. Black people aren't like that, but at the same time, which is why I want us to start owning stuff, and then like if we have our own stuff, we can push the black dollar into the community more times over, to where like we don't have to depend on other communities or other races for black wealth. Because as much as like the entertainers and billionaires and millionaires, they are getting money. They know like when they know like they can't open their mouth fully or how they really feel, because if it affects their bottom dollar, they're not going to get into some work. So that's why you see like some celebrities can be bought, or some celebrities just don't say anything, in which I don't have a problem with, because if you really don't have anything to say about it, or you really don't care about that, you shouldn't talk about it anyway. But for those that do, they know that if I'm going to talk about this, this might affect my bottom dollar. But so I had to say this or that, and people ask them the questions. Some people they know how to dodge it. Some other people they'll just give you some regular bullshit answer, just so people could just leave them alone. So here we go.
But the only reason I believe the crab in the barrel mentality is because the crab is not naturally in a barrel. So to be put in a barrel, you're going to turn against everything around you to get out of it, because that's not your home.
Like, you feel what I'm saying? It's somebody
Ray,
that
I
is
think Jetsy's fucking with the audio because the music is usually not loud in the video. Not that loud, at least.
I don't get it. I really, because even when I've listened to this on the headphones, like this never was that loud. I'm like, oh, you know what it is? It's coming out of one fucking speaker. I don't know how to fucking. There's another reason why I should probably redo this. Well, first off, I did it for. It's I know why. I think I know why. It is right. I think it's either left or right dominant or some shit like that. So you're hearing more of the music than you're hearing the speaking and some shit like that. And I don't know. This is when I was just starting, so
the DMV who is trying to get us on the map.
I was just skip this
A
part.
lot of people are apparently scared to go to, which is understandable because there's a lot of crime that happens around there in Hanlon Park, but it's not as bad as it seems.
Oh man, it was hard. It was 12 of us, 1-bedroom house, row house.
I was talking about those cookouts.
I feel like if that's your friend or that's your man,
There we go.
Honestly, you know, it's funny. Baltimore gets a bad rap on a lot of stuff, but in all honesty, when I was talking about those cookouts and things like that, we had a lot of that. You had a lot of that going on down the street from Cherry Hill, which a lot of people are apparently scared to go to, which is understandable because there's a lot of crime that happens around there in Hanlon Park, but it's not as bad as it seems.
Oh man, it was hard. It was 12 of us, 1-bedroom house, row house, no running water. Like I had it crazy growing up.
So in elementary school, it was especially interesting because I was being called a monkey, African booty scratcher by black kids, and it really messed me up because for a long time I hated being African because of it. I wanted, like as a child, you want to be friends with people, you want to be able to hang out with people that, especially of your skin color and stuff like that.
I moved a lot. I moved from.
Hold on, Ray. Pause it real quick.
I lived in.
Nah, nigga. My childhood, I had to fight for my fucking life, bro. People don't fucking understand. I was the African, nigga. Damn. Those are some rough times, yo. That shit was ass, but you know what? We here now. Damn it. Now niggas is listening to Afro beats, bitch.
Skincare routine. I'm like, all I'm looking at is that. That's some good skin right there, boy.
Now everybody's listening to Afro beats, and that's the most positive music that's coming out because hip hop is bang bang shoot shoot killing nigga.
Everybody want to be part of the winning team.
In Capitol Heights when I was younger, and people always told me that I talked white, or I was like a white black girl or Oreo or whatever. And I was never offended by it because I didn't really know what it meant because I was young. But then I was dating one guy and he told me that I talked white or I acted like a white girl. And I was like, no, I just speak properly. I talk like I've read a book before.
Me growing up in the black community, I was always.
Go ahead.
I don't think she talks as white. It's like, it just depends on her area. I guess the people that she was in that area, they had a really thick, like, probably accent or something. But she sounds like any other, like, people that's from up north.
Yeah, she never like obviously I know her all personally, but yeah, she never really like had a white speaking voice. So I don't know who, but
I was like, oh, you sound white. People just be saying it's like just say she sound proper, like, but to say she sound white, like what white person you know sound like that? That means you around a bunch of white people who speak black.
So I will say this, like DC, I don't know if you like met a legitimate straight from Southeast New Balance Helly Hansen as DC nigga. There is an accent we do have, and if you don't talk like that, people think you talk funny because people used to say that to me too. It's just like you talk different. You're like, you ain't from around here. I was like, I grew up around here. What do you mean? But like you'll hear it every once in a while from me. But my DC slang accent is not as prevalent as anybody that grew up in the city or something like that.
Like, because certain Maryland people have certain accents, like it's that do or that EW sound.
Oh, that's the Baltimore accent. Like, like 1, 2, welcome back.
Oh, that's the ugliest fucking accent in America. I swear to God.
Say dummy. Boop blue dummy. You know, oh man, like when I was living up there in Baltimore, that's all I heard.
Oh
So,
my god,
so
bro.
I don't know. I don't think like up north has a definitely has an accent up north. Like everybody who lives up north, they all have like the people from the south is definitely a different accent. But
Nah, you know who had a strong Baltimore accent? Fucking D Tronada from the Rap Game. You remember? You
Yeah.
remember her?
no, don't be, it was that guy. What's his name? He was on the rap game. He was from Baltimore or Maryland or whatever.
I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
I think Deacon Under like hers was there, but it wasn't as bad as him. Like it was serious.
Nah, he was
I
definitely worse. Okay. Yeah, he was definitely worse.
I was like, damn, okay, you really from there. Like,
In the trenches.
mm-hmm. Down the rap game definitely got show when you was a little kid. But no, this isn't bad though. This is really good. Why you didn't put it out? Oh, you didn't finish it.
It was a rough draft.
It's a rough draft. I just put that. I started doing other video. This was like a side project because, like I said, this wasn't like no main project. That there was one of those side projects I did put this in my portfolio though. That I did do this. I had fun doing it too. Like me and this other brother. His name is Abel. It's spelled Abel, but it's pronounced Abel. Smart brother too. Smart brother. He helped me set up the lights and all that other stuff, and he had his own cameras. So there's like 2 camera angles and shit. But because I guess he was curious too, and he wanted to help you set up and all that other stuff. I think he wanted to use some of it as B-roll. And I was like, yeah, no, whatever you can use. But I know, like I said, I was like one of these days that I told myself that because there's like 2 parts to it. This is just part 1, and then there's part 2 where that was more in a political sense, but yeah, I just never got back to it. I just started doing other videos, and then like classes, I was doing the classes, and then like most of those classes was taking some of my time with the film, and like I just kept this. I just kept this in the and uploaded. It was like I might as well just upload what I got. So that's basically this it.
The black sheep, if you will. I always was told that I talk white, I act white. I'm not really black, really. I got that a whole lot. I never really fit in with people who wasn't like dirty or whatever. So women never really liked me like that, except for the nerdy ones.
Growing up in the black community for me I had mixed feelings because a lot of people treated me one way because I was light skinned, and then you have the other people. One side would treat me positive because I'm light skinned, and then the other side would treat me negatively because I'm light skinned.
There are days where everyone is at peace. There are days where you don't hear gunshots finally. There are days you don't hear an ambulance coming the street. There's days you don't hear a fire truck. There are days where you don't have to worry, am I going to make it down the street to my house from school? Like, you don't have to worry about that.
There are major cultural differences when it comes to Africans and blacks and the way they do things, per se. Like, in an African home, they're much more stricter on, like, education. You know, like, I noticed that with the other black kids in my neighborhood, they had more freedom in a sense. Like, they'd be outside at longer hours of the night. Or, you know, they do certain things that if my mom ever found out that I did, I'd probably be shipped back to Africa.
And I wasn't really like the stereotypical type of like the hood type of girl. I was more introverted and quiet. So I did get picked on by certain people a lot. But then you had the other side that was like, oh, she's light skinned, so she's cute, so I won't mess with her. She's cool or whatever because she's light skinned.
Like I had it crazy growing up. I had a mom my mom was on everything you name, Wick times 5, welfare, everything. But you know what I'm saying? We made it. Like I'm gonna graduate college in 6 months. You know what I'm saying? We made it. Like being from the hood and growing up in that environment made me strong. It made me not want to go back. It made me like, yo, it's more than this.
I
I don't know. I just don't. I don't understand why a guy would disrespect a black woman, especially when they came from a black woman.
Not by my skin tone, by my skin color in general. Yeah, plenty of times by people of my own race and outside of it. Like it all depends on your mindset when you get into a different environment.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask. Is like, B, have you ever been like disrespected by your like skin tone? I meant to ask.
No, no, that's not. People started to blow me. And also, I think I also didn't believe I was that light skinned. Like, I don't think I'm light skinned. I feel like I'm brown skinned, or like I'm just regular. But like, I don't know. Some people go through these things in life. Like black people, when I hear black people speak about how they experience in the black community, I'll be like, wow. But then y'all might be delusional too, so I don't know.
Well, you know what's funny? Because one of the girls, she's never heard the term crabs in the barrel mentality. She's actually never heard that term before. I had to explain it to her what it meant. So there are things that some people have never heard of, but I know she was also. She said, and she was told this by a black dude with an afro. It was kind of corny though. Father knows what I'm talking about, but
unfortunately, I do.
My man told her, you cute for a black girl.
He said you well put together for a black girl.
Yeah, he said that. And this nigga is black himself.
With a big ass motherfucking afro.
Crazy about that is I didn't start hearing people say stuff like that, like telling people, "Oh, you cute for a black girl," until like social media era. Because I'm like, people didn't say that in Miami. Like, it wasn't a common thing to hear people say, "Oh, you cute for a black girl." Because it wasn't, to be honest, it wasn't that much light skinned people exist, like light skinned girls. Like, it's either they were Hispanic or like. So most of the girls was brown skin, or like you had black, like some black girls, but it was too many pretty people. Like, it was never a thing about, oh, you cute for black. It was just in Miami. It was too many pretty people. Like, it wasn't rare to see a black girl that was very gorgeous. It wasn't rare to see a light skinned girl that was ugly as hell. So it was like, I don't know. I don't know. Miami is different. Like, just pretty just exists all over Miami. So it wasn't like people saying that wasn't common. I'm like there was pretty girls.
Yeah. I mean, coming from a melting pot, it's like what is it like? Most of it is Latin dominated, and then there's a Haitian side, right? And then there's also other parts of melting pot. So
it's like everybody has a sector. So that's why I was like, certain things like it's. I feel like it'd be crazy to me, but then again, I might be delusional.
You're not. Honestly, you're not.
I'm sorry. When you said that shit made me laugh just now.
I will say this though. I never heard "you're pretty for a black girl" until I got to college or in the military, or at least when I was military. And girls would talk about, people was telling me I'm pretty for a black girl, and I was like, who the fuck says that? Or I've heard there's a lot of dark skinned women. They was just like, people used to come up to me and was just like, I normally don't date dark skinned women, but you I would make an exception for. And I go, do you understand what you just said? in front of the person? Do they know that they're saying this stuff to you?
I be saying it all the time. Y'all are lucky that they didn't beat your ass right then and there. Because them is fighting words. I don't care what nobody say.
It's honestly, and I know I've said this before, like when my sister used to tell me like some of the shit that she go through, and I'm like, who are these niggas? Like, I legitimately mean that. It's just like, and I tell people because it's just like, the niggas I know don't act like that. That's why when a lot
like,
of women,
oh God.
like, that's why when some of the women like online is like, you tell me about these men, I'm like, I don't know none of these men. And I be telling some of these women, like, none of these men are in my circle. And if they were, we would check that shit.
Ray, you remember that one time on Facebook? You had tagged me because a woman just legitimately did not believe that you had friends that wasn't like on some bullshit she was talking about. And you tagged me, and I'm sitting there talking to her, and she still didn't believe us.
Yeah. Cause Kevin Sager said this. Some people just have the needs to be right. Like, they just want to be right. They didn't want to understand the situation. They just want to be right. So even though you prove that you wasn't on no bullshit, or like I can prove that a lot of these, I have legitimate men that, you know, doing good in their life that aren't on some bullshit. There was some women that just would not take that, and it was just like they had to want to be right and some shit like that. It's just like it wasn't computing in their heads.
Also, if some people have always been around this type of group of guys, like their whole life, and they've never left like the area or like the place they've been and never left and seen other things, it's for them, it's like the whole world looks the same. Like, even though like people may show you different, to them the whole world still looks the same until they experience it in a mass number. I'm like, I ain't like, that's like some of the things people say. I'll be like, I ain't experienced that. Like, I don't know that type of life you're talking about.
Honestly, and I agree with you on here, because I tell people all the time, if it wasn't for the fact that I joined the military, I would probably be saying the same thing most of these people be saying. And or like people would say like only black people do this and all that other stuff. It's like, because I've been in the military and I've hung around other races, and I can tell people, no, other races talk about this shit too. All right, it's not just a black thing. Or I used to tell people all the time, you need to get out your box, because you're in this box. You need to go somewhere where you're just out of your natural habitat and then just experience the world, because you be surprised of what the fuck, like, your world is small compared to what the fuck is really going out there. Now, it's good to care about your people and all that stuff, but just know that sometimes your problems is not everybody else's problems, or some shit like that. Or like you said, like, if people come up to you and say this, you be like, I don't know anybody like that. It's like, I've never met him. So, let's keep going.
Not necessarily, really. I never really felt disrespect because of my skin tone. I've been called dark a lot, but I don't really think I'm that dark. I think I'm brown skin, I guess you could say.
I feel disrespected when people disrespect me because of my skin tone. But the only way you could really be disrespected because of skin tone is if you disrespect yourself. You have to forget who you are. If you forget who you are, then that is the worst sign of disrespect to anybody, because that means you have no love for yourself. If you have no love for yourself, there's no way you can have love for the skating place. This skating place is beautiful.
Disrespect comes from both sides.
I'm sorry, that nigga was spitting the entire video. That's my boy.
I told you, I can see him being an activist. He might be.
Drakkar, that nigga, he was spitting the entire time. I was there that day, bruh. That's a smart dude, bruh.
It's funny about Drakkar, and I say this, he's a big nerd. But if you look at him, you would think he be on the block selling or some shit like that.
Oh, he didn't give me that, but no, he don't give me the block.
No, like there, he's all dressed up and all that stuff. But like he also, he's a former Marine. But but if you would see him, like, you would think he was just some regular hood nigga. Come to
Yeah.
find out, this nigga is a Yu-Gi-Oh! I think he said he was a champion at Yu-Gi-Oh! At Yu-Gi-Oh! Dueling and some shit like that. And I
Bro,
watched
I
this
saw
nigga.
his Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I was shocked. I was like, "This nigga play Yu-Gi-Oh!" I wish you would have seen my face when I saw him.
This nigga is really fucking good at Yu. Like he whooped everybody at that school in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like you would have never thought to cover him. And like when he told me that, I was like, "Nigga, you play Yu-Gi-Oh!" And like, but I said that it was just like out of surprise. That was like not a big ass nerd, but I said, "Oh shit!" But I was happy when I realized he played Yu-Gi-Oh! And he was good. That nigga is really good. But yeah, he's also smart. He's a very smart brother, but he's and he's very military minded. Because it's funny because after he graduated, he went back into the army. He said, "Fuck this civilian shit." So, but shout out to my man J. Carr. He was one of the. I think everybody was a highlight, but he was definitely a highlight when I was going through his interview. So,
women put each other down because they want to build themselves up. It's an insecurity thing for a lot of women. For guys, it's a lot of times it's because guys are getting rejected.
by the way, the question was, does the disrespect comes from men, or where does the disrespect come from, the man or a woman? That's what the question was.
The disrespect is kind of equal on both sides when it comes to somebody like me, who is the light-skinned, skinny girl and young. On the women's side, I get a lot of disrespect from the darker-skinned women, especially the older, darker-skinned women. Like, for example, if I'm at work, I can see their demeanor completely switches up. Like their face will get real stale or real dry. And when I say, "Hi, how are you doing?" They're just really dry. They don't really want to respond back. They don't want to put the money in my hand. They don't really like to make eye contact. But then I'll see my manager come up, who's the darker skinned woman, and they'll act completely different.
Well, in today's time, I think it affects women more. Because there's a lot of guys out there that's like, oh, they like light-skinned women, and they advertise light-skinned women as being more feminine, being light-skinned to a lot of people. It's seen as a more feminine trait, and it also has effects on men because I heard a lot of black women say that light-skinned black men are more sensitive or bitchy. I've heard that by a couple of times, really.
Both. I seen a red bone chick who look down on a dark skinned chick and she's dark skinned. And her feature's not like hers, so she's obsolete. And I seen the guy, they see on TV, you see all these rappers on these videos, oh, they got red bones. That's what's popping. Let me give me a red bone.
The disrespect for black women is so big in our culture. We literally put it out in the mainstream media. We literally tell other races we disrespect our women. You know what I'm saying? Every other rap song nowadays has the word bitch in it. You know, it has the word hoes. You know, she's sucking my dick and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like that's gonna be someone's mother at one point.
No, they feel intimidated by black women sometimes, and they feel like if they put them down or tell them they're not pretty or their skin is ugly or something like that, it will bring them down to a more vulnerable level, and then they can have more control over it.
On the male side, it's more of just the comments, sexual comments, catcalling, stuff like that. So I believe it's kind of equal.
Without the woman will be nothing. You cannot have a community without women. So why would you disrespect them? Why would you rape them? Why would you castigate them? Why would you mislead them? Why would you cheat on them? Like why would you hurt them? You have to build them up. You know what I mean? I always said this. I said if I'm walking a path, my lady's gonna walk by me, not behind me. And I feel like that's what we need to start doing. We need to start really embracing and respecting our women. Otherwise, when the women go their own way and they're doing their own thing, men aren't going to survive.
I do.
Now,
You still feel that way?
bruh,
You still feel that? You
bruh,
still feel that way?
I'm a fucking philosopher. I'm the motherfucking sorcerer. I fucking called it.
You still feel that way?
I fucking called it. Nigga, do I still feel that way? I literally saw it right before my eyes. That shit, nigga, you would think I was reading the Bible or something. I love how you immediately paused it because I had the same reaction. Like, bruh, we like all the because we talked about like the loneliness epidemic and niggas not making enough money and shit like that. The job market being trash. And I'm like, bro, all of this shit, like, if it affects men the way that it does, bruh, society's not gonna be the same. You know what I'm saying? And now that like a lot of the women is like bossing up and shit like that, which we have no problem with, like on an individual level, but it's just like now that they have the means to go their own way, niggas is suffering because of it. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say, the biggest example is South Korea. Them ladies was like, we not doing shit, and look at them niggas, lowest birth rate in the world. I'm telling you, women have the power, bruh. Happy wife, happy life. I'm shit, nigga. I'm on the right side of history. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why Mary gave birth to Jesus, because she was the catalyst to bring the Son of Man into the world. The Son of God, not the Son of Man. But like, yo, bruh, it's getting to a point now where it's just like you either just gotta play your role and forget about all that traditional shit, or you're gonna die trying. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so just because a woman got more money than you or got more success than you, don't mean that you aren't a human being. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gotta be in a position to match a gangster the same way she had to match your gangster when you was on top. You could do the same. You know what I'm saying?
That's what yeah. When I was there, that's what I was like. I had the same exact thought. I was like, damn, this nigga kind of called it. I was like, yo, my man kind of called it. But also, I do want to say this because I feel like because the women are bossing out, because usually they and I know hypergamy is a real thing. They want someone on their level or higher. I get that. But it's also like you talk to a lot of these women and they say most of the stuff they'll tell you, like most of the stuff they used to want a man for, they can do it themselves. So it's now like they don't feel like they need men, or when they date, they having a hard time finding men. And then I always ask this question. Okay, so now that you're in a position that you could do for yourself and you really don't need a man, what are you looking for now? And a lot of them don't really have an idea. So I feel like they're still, because a lot of them still say like, I want a provider, or they'll tell you, I'm not going to take care of them grown ass man, which I'm not expecting you to take care of them grown ass man. But at the same time, it's just like I feel like you don't know. A lot of those women don't know what the fuck they want now that they can do stuff for themselves. Now you see a couple of them, they're like moving to like the softer life, or some people they just don't want to work that hard. But a lot of women, like especially the one that called themselves boss babes, it was just like you spent majority of your life being independent, being a boss chick, doing your own, and not having everybody tell you what to do. So why would you want a man to come in and tell you what to do? And a lot of them, they don't really have answers, but they'll tell you like, I can learn from him. I said, yeah, but he's not looking for a partner. He's looking for a woman. He's like, you're looking for a partner. And I feel like you're not going to really get that on your end. Maybe it's just like, but it's a very small margin to just men just looking for a woman just to be submissive and do housework and some shit like that. So like it's amazing how like what you called 7 years ago, it really does shows here. Okay. You got anything to say, B, before I continue? Material life, you there?
No, I agree with you. I see one person didn't change their philosophy.
Okay, all right.
Dude, because men and women who look at a dark-skinned woman automatically assume that you are beneath it. In other words, compared to the military, there's ranks to skin complexion. The lighter you are, the more prospect you get. The lighter you are, the more wealthy you are. The more healthy you'll be. If you're dark-skinned, they look at the dark-skin complexion of a woman as nothing. But that is actually the richest skin complexion.
I find it funny how you can stay quiet when a white woman is probably disciplining her child in a grocery market. But when it comes to a black woman, the first word that will probably come to your mind is the word bitch. And I find
Live streaming is on.
Let's finish this up.
black women are probably the most important people of our community. They're the ones that give birth. They're the ones that get the degrees in the community. They're the ones that usually owns the businesses in our community. And like Love and Hip Hop, for example, most of the women that are on that show own businesses. Most of them are getting money. And I just find it real disgraceful that we're just so capable, and us as men are just so capable of downing someone who is the most important figure of the community.
Okay.
Brandon.
All right. So far, what you think of the first half of that? And also, Father, looking back to that, how does it make you feel?
Sorry, what was the question?
How do you feel looking back on that?
I called it. That's how I feel. A lot of the shit that I said kind of came to pass, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Okay. B, what did you think so far?
You know what's so crazy? Is this was 7 years ago and we still have not grown.
As a matter of fact, I think we've gotten worse.
I've had that same thought. Yeah, I think. And it's funny because like I did have questions because I don't know if I told you, B, I do plan on doing this again. It was just looking at it 7 years later, and one of my questions. Hold on, let me bring out one of the questions I have. Do you feel like are we better or worse than the last time that we've done this video? Because I did plan on speaking on people that have done it before. It's like, how do we feel? Are we better or worse than where we were 10 years ago or 7 years ago? So on to this part two. This one's a little bit more kind of political, and this one because this was also a big topic during that time, because a lot of LGBT people was talking about, no one was talking about the homophobia in the hood, and it's like everybody's scared to talk about it. So I was like, I was going to put this in my video just so I can get people's thoughts on it. So that's going to be the first question you want to see, is like thoughts on the homophobia. Is it a big issue or not? So, what's up right there? So let's get it.
Brandon Tillman. See, it's weird being from it. You kind of just like it's an unspoken like cultural norm. It's an unspoken societal norm for us.
I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, I do think that some people are just doing it just to do it because it's a trend.
Okay, now this one's interesting.
Now, you being from African culture,
Yup.
yeah, one thing I know, they're really strict on that.
They're very, very strict. I had my mom even come to me because my mom, she watches CNN a lot. And when Obama passed that bill saying homosexuals could marry, she was angry.
Growing up, I had the friend with a kid. My man, very from Reaction. You know about Reaction, man?
Yeah.
That was my man. Man was tight. He was undercover. That's what you call a guy who messed with girls that he was secretly gay, you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And man was tight. We talked. I had suspicion. Somebody was like, yo, your man gay? That's impossible. It's my man. So basically, me being like stupid and so immature and not smart about it, some pictures came out one day. I was like 10, 11 grade high school. Pictures came out. He's kissing another guy. And I stopped talking. We stopped talking for years. I just apologized to him about like 2 months ago. We really stopped talking.
Well, if you was talking about back in 1992 through 2006 or 7, maybe. But today I don't think is as big of a thing, especially amongst, like I said, amongst the newer generation.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to cats that came from 1980 or 1990, a certain generation, there's definitely homophobia there.
I feel like it is a big deal still to a lot of people, not to the post-millennials, but I feel like anybody born before 93 still has like that mindset of like homosexuality is taboo, like the homophobia is real serious.
Well, actually, that always the taboo part is guys like the guys, girls like the girls, the transgender, all that. First of all, that goes back to slavery. That's where the word, the MF word comes from. All that comes from that.
She's not being a horrible person, but it's just a culture. Like, they don't come from it. You don't see homosexuality out in the open, like in the ancient African times and stuff. It just wasn't a thing.
I understand why people want to love somebody that's
real quick.
their same sex.
So I just want to provide a little bit of context. And I don't even know if I bring this up like during the video, but like homosexuality does exist in Africa. It's just, it wasn't like something that we, wanted like be put out there, like for the sake of the community and the children. Like if you was that way, then you was kind of like that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not gonna kill you, but like, don't make it hot. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't make it, so don't make it like a public spectacle type shit from further research that I've done, because they definitely did exist. You know what I'm saying? Like, even now in Africa, go to South Africa and shit like that. But, just because Africa was colonized by religion, and religion is vehemently homophobic, that's where the radicalization of those ideas took root. So, just some context.
Why are you gay?
Exactly. Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
and he's Ugandan too, and them niggas really don't play about that shit.
Yeah, they don't play. But that video is like so unnecessary, but yet so funny at the same time. It's just like, you are gay.
And he was talking to a transgender too. It was funny as shit. I'm like, yo,
yeah.
Probably confused as shit. He's like, what is he talking about?
Oh man.
Because I've done it before. So I mean, it's just you loving somebody. It's not really anything deeper than that, or like anything that you're really getting out of it. It's just love.
So I feel like the homophobia is still very strong in the Black community, but it's starting to fade. And I think it's starting with the post-millennials. They're starting to be more warm to it because they're starting to push it out there more as being normal and being accepted.
They made
You agree with what she said about that? Because I would say yeah, but I also I don't see that many people flipping out about people being gay, except for you know white people when it comes to doing shows and they'll make a person gay and they'll call it woke or some shit like that. But other than that, I see people, just another day where they see a gay person on TV.
Yeah, I just think I just think it depends where you at. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna be having a way different conversation if you was over in motherfucking Russia or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, but even certain parts of the US, like if you in if you in Los Angeles or in San Francisco, you go live your gayest life ever. You feeling what I'm saying? But if you live in Mobile, Alabama, good luck. You feel me? So I feel like it really does depend where you at. And not only that, but exposure is only gonna be a good thing for you or a bad thing for you. So as long as you understand where you are at, then you can kind of maneuver it the way that you need to.
B, do you feel that way?
I think less people care now versus back then. Too many people were embarrassed, they wouldn't be looked at differently. Versus now, less people care. We don't care. People got their own life going on. We not focused on what you got going on. And so, some people also want to be part of that trend that's going on. And then in reality, they're not really that. So,
Okay. The next question I did ask is, do you think it's a trend? And for context, there was at that time a lot of people was looking at it as a trend because this is when I feel like a lot of LGBT media was blowing up, or a lot of LGBT representation was blowing up, and then there was some people that was actually they was pretending to be gay, or they would do some real sus stuff just to get more attention to ask people if they're gay or not. There was a lot of that going on. There was a lot of I used to say these niggas is gay for clout. There was a lot of people being gay for clout and some shit like that. There was a lot.
These niggas is gay for clout. These niggas is gay for clout.
And I think what's her name? One of the dudes he had a boyfriend, but the boyfriend was straight. So, but he was pay for gay or some shit like that. He was gay for pay. He was gay for pay or some shit like that. So this was around that time for those people. I think now the most people that are in the LGBT community, they are legitimately in the LGBT too. But at one point, a lot of people, and I think a lot of LGBT people could say that, there's a lot of people who was profited off of that movement. So there we go.
Making it regular now. Back when I grew up, probably one day in the hood, maybe one church actually. They ain't messing with it. It was cool. Now every other person, it's a fad. That shit is enshrined in your brain now. You see on TV all the time. One of the time you watch a show or movie, there wasn't no homophobic activity. You can't remember because it's propaganda. That's all you see.
Some people will do it because they want to be Twitter or Instagram famous or something like that. They just want to have something to do, or they don't, or a guy doesn't love them, so they want to become a lesbian, or a lot of gay guys don't have their father figure, so they feel trying to run and find it. The same thing with a woman. They'll try and find a male figure to fill that void for them.
Yeah, man, okay, you'll see one or two, okay, whatever. It's just one or two. Now there's a whole block of them.
I think it'll be looked at as more normal because, believe it or not, there's a lot of people who are homosexuals and they're just keeping it in because they know that if they say something, their grandma, their their daddy, whoever in their family will disown them. There's still a lot of that going on in the Black community.
We like trends. So I don't believe in the fact that the Black community really don't like it. I just believe it's because it's called bandwagon effect. One person said they hate it, everyone in the community gonna say they don't like it. I bet you money if nobody say anything, they will let them live their normal life.
It's possible now. So it's good to talk about it. Look at RuPaul Drag Queen. Come on, man. That shit got 9 seasons.
RuPaul's Drag Race.
People love that shit. Like, it's possible. It's okay to be transgender. Let's print on some I love gay t-shirts, some headbands, let's march. $1 million business.
I don't think it's a trend. I think it's a movement. I think it's a movement that's probably going to carry on to the next generation. And the next generation is going to be more, people are going to be more open with it. I don't think it's a trend. I think it's going to continue.
Plus, the way I think about it, you have to try and figure out where that person's coming from and why they think the way that they do, why they do the things that they do. Because a lot of the time, no one tries to figure out what it is that's going on that causes anything to happen in their life like that. I don't think it should be at any point in time. I personally don't care. I can talk about anything, anywhere. I'm fine with that.
Because a lot of people still have the old mentality of it's not accepted or it's not normal. You're not born this way. How dare you? People being disowned by their families, being disowned by their friends, possibly being fired from their jobs because their boss is very conservative and doesn't believe in that. So I feel like people are still just scared to come out.
Yo, you can't glass over it anymore. That's all I know. You have to talk about it now. They put it out there. You have to talk about it. It's all over TV, especially in our TV shows, Empire, Star. Okay, now Star is just oversaturated with, LGBT stuff. It's everywhere now. You can't ignore it.
Yeah, I think they do, but I think they talk about it in a negative way all the time.
Like how?
Like they'll say it's something in the water, or like, gay dudes are doing too much, and
if you want to sit there and talk about it, we can talk about it. I don't got no shame in that. But not everybody feels that way. So I guess if being in a private setting makes them feel comfortable, you can go ahead. If being at home makes you feel comfortable, go ahead and do that. Sitting in just a room with your friends, do that. That's how you feel comfortable. But not everyone feels that way, I guess.
I don't understand the transgender thing because it's just confusing to me, but I'm not gonna just say that I don't care about it, or it's just gross. I'm trying to understand it. So I don't want to be that ignorant type of person, but I don't get it because I don't understand how you can be born a man and then like other men and then become a girl. So are you straight now?
I think the idea of it is being introduced to our children more than it used to be. It's being shown as an option, it's being shown as a normal, it's being normalized more so. It's more normalized than it is being seen as like an other.
Hell, no, it's on every TV show, right? You got kids. This little kid called me a bisexual. I almost knocked his ass out. He said, yo, you're a bisexual. What are you talking about? Oh, my friend's a bisexual. He's 8. He like men and women. He's 8 years old. He ain't even got no pubic hair on his jump. How the fuck do you know what he like?
I think
I just want you to know that shout out to Yuli. Like I had to hold back some laughter when he was going through this stuff. And then but he doesn't think this way. I want people to understand he don't think this way no more. He definitely matured this day. Because I remember him telling me like a couple of years ago, it's like something about he was trying to protect his image or something like that. He didn't want that to pop up and all that other stuff. It's like I respected his wishes, but I just want people to, if you see this, he doesn't think this way no more. He's definitely done matured, and plus, I want to reiterate, this was 7 years ago. A lot of people's opinions probably done changed from like 7 years ago. So I just want to throw that out there.
John, why the fuck do you know what he like?
I think it's confusing on children. I don't think it's forced on them. Like a child will see two men kissing and they'll feel like, oh, okay, this is an option now.
Well, he sees it on TV a lot. He watches his own cartoons. That shit is like a shrine. You understand? Kids are like vessels. Little kids. You put something in their head, they're gonna grow with it. So you got these kids 5, 6 years old watching these cartoons on Nickelodeon. A black dad and a white dad, and the kid's white. Oh, I got 2 dads. They think it's regular. I met a friend growing up, he had 2 moms. He wasn't proud about it.
You know what I mean? When it's just, because I don't believe you're born gay. I don't. That sounds ridiculous to me. At the other time, I don't believe you're born straight either. We're babies. We don't have that kind of thinking yet. The homos hasn't kicked in.
By the way, when you said that, I was like, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that way. Because like I was, because I used to hear that question. It's just like, do you think people are born gay? I was like, I don't think you're born gay or straight. I just think you just born a child, and then you just kind of like just drawn to who you're attracted to.
I never knew that.
No,
I never knew that.
When you said that, I was like, oh my God, I'm not the only one. Because people used to ask me, it was like, when did you realize you were straight? I was like, I don't think you were born straight either. But I tell people, because people think it was like, do you think you're born gay? I say no, but I don't think you're born straight either. And then like sometimes it confuses people because people, and because when you tell a regular person, it's just like, when you born straight or something like that, and a lot of straight people don't have an answer. And I used to tell people, that shit used to bug me. And it was just like, because like, that's how most LGBT people used to throw the reverse on people. Because, the whole, like, most people are born, some people, I think it was like 1 out of 10 people are born gay or something like that. They was going with that rhetoric. And I was like, I don't think, and a lot of people was like, do you think you could be born gay? And a lot of people said no. Well, they throw that question. I was like, that question is just easily reversible. All you have to do is say, I don't think you're born straight either. You just go with who you're attracted to. But yeah, I was like, finally, I finally met someone that not only that thinks that way, just says the same way I would say it too. But yeah.
Yeah, we here.
Yeah, we here. And also, I think this is when Donald Trump became president, or he got elected as president. So
he was nominee.
He was nominated. Okay, he was nominated. Okay. So it's funny how things circle around with this one too.
Yeah, because we did this 2016, right? 7 years.
2016.
Yes. Yeah, something like that.
So, man.
And
Donald Trump. He's a joke on too far.
Honestly, it's something that people are warned about.
I can't stand Donald Trump.
being in office.
I really don't think it really matters who's in office. I think that the Congress makes all the decisions.
Oh, that's the ultimate hustler right there. He hustled his way into the White House, honey. I feel like he's the perfect person for them to put in office, because not for us, but for them.
To be honest with you, I don't have no words for that man except our country is going to a deep, dark place. Because for a man who can talk to people on a feminist, sexist, and racist level and still get elected in the office, I'm not too mad at you. I'm not mad.
Oh, he won. Oh shit!
Because
who won?
Trump. I think he won. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
this is
we're
what he
talking
won.
about it.
Okay.
On a feminist, sexist, and racist level, and still get elected in office. I'm not too mad at you. I'm not mad at Trump. I'm mad at those who let you in office because all Trump did was let me know who is who.
He's not the first and last white guy to dislike African American race. He's not the first president. He's not the last president. He just only thing with him, he open with it. And the dumb people still voted for a man who was open with it. So that's their fault.
Yeah, you know, it was funny when he was running for the Republicans and now this dude's president. And I'm sitting here like, all you literally had to do was not vote for him if you didn't want him, especially in the primaries. That's all you literally had to do.
It's something that people are warned about. When you take a person who literally is just a mouthpiece, he literally embodies what the title of president is. It's literally just a figurehead that the rest of the government will speak through. Hence why with the election we had, when you notice that most of Congress is now Republican, you wonder why the things we have are happening. We wonder why Trump got put in office. It's not by the popular vote. The popular vote doesn't mean anything. It's just who the people like.
He's just, oh my God, he's just a frustrating person. Okay. Donald Trump is ignorant. So I'm not even worried about Donald Trump, honestly. I do feel like his mouth is gonna get us in some deep shit, but it's not even him. It's the people who he has behind him. That vice president needs to get the fuck out of there.
We all know this racism. There's people that don't like women, people who are feminists about all that. We know this, but we didn't know who. Now, when I saw that and I saw how many states chose him, based off everything he said at all his rallies, that let me know, like, I can't even just hate you for being a person. You brought out the true character of everyone, almost a lot of people in this nation. So it ain't just you. I'm just upset with him because he's the face of this nation.
You heard about the surgeon couple voted for him and he kicked their ass out?
Yeah.
That's their fault. They were so fucked up they didn't want a woman in office. They voted for a guy who don't like nobody. Because he grew up like that. Like, racism and shit don't come overnight, right? Some of that shit you taught, bro. Like, some of that you taught. I remember in the hood, we used to go buy people crackers. And crackers, certain crackers. You taught that.
Like, oh, you wonder what we felt like? Like, it's funny. No one wanted to do all these marches and stuff with it. No one saw them.
Yeah.
Everybody started getting treated like black people in America.
And they tell the president what he can and can't do. Then he can make a suggestion for a bill to go past, but it's all about what Congress wants to go through and what they don't want to go through. Like if they don't want Trump to take away Obamacare, he can't take away Obamacare. He has to go through them.
Because they know he doesn't have the experience, but he has the money. He has a lot of money that could help them push a lot of things that they want to push. And since he doesn't have the experience, they don't have to do a lot of influencing to him to get him to do certain things, especially things that are the decisions that are based off of hate, like him doing this Muslim ban. I feel like they're just about to have their way.
By the way, if you're wondering, the instrument on the background, it's the Nipsey Hussle song "Fuck Donald Trump." I just thought that was, but I don't know. It's like, do you, Father, do you feel any different like 7 years ago than you did now about Trump or anything that's like, have your views changed since then?
Ray, before I answer that question, I just want you to keep in mind that this nigga's about to be president again.
Again. Like I said, why how everything everything just comes into fruition.
What? What? And yo, watching this video all over again with the shit that we have now, I'm like, you can't make this shit up. This nigga, this is a entire Boondocks episode. Again. Like, bruh. So what I'm gonna say in regards to your question, not only do I still feel the same way, I don't give a fuck anymore. I think that's where I'm at. You know how you used to give niggas in the lounge advice about women, and then they just straight up not listen to you, and then you just stop caring. That's where I'm at. You know what this feels like? That time when we told him, don't ask her out. She's not ready yet. And the nigga proceeded to ask her out and get mad that she said no. And we said, we told you not to ask her out. That's where I'm at.
Everybody in the involvement could see that she was not in the right space. And yet, go dumb. Just what I just want to ask her out.
I was just wondering if I'm like, oh my fucking.
Oh
then
my god!
And then had the fucking audacity to act sad about it when we told him exactly what was gonna happen. That's what pissed me off.
And started treating her different. I was like, nigga, that's all your fault. I called him out. I think it's funny because we all called him out on that too. There's a nigga, we told you. But no. This is what I realized is like some people you can tell them what not to do, but there's other people you kind of like you gotta show them what not to do. Because these motherfuckers just run into a brick wall. That's another thing. Sometimes I also realize sometimes you gotta let niggas run into a brick wall because that's the only way they'll learn. Just let them run into a brick wall.
And then some of them run into that brick wall and then run into it again just because.
Just to make sure.
Was that
a brick wall? Hold on.
Oh shit, these bricks is gray now.
Yep, that's a brick wall, all right. So dumb ass there.
So fucking stupid ass.
Okay, now this is when they was trying to take away Obamacare and Planned Parenthood, which they never really did. And I know they did get rid of Roe v. Wade though, so I guess that's something. So let's just look at this.
Oddly enough, I say it's karma. Why do I say it's karma? Because the majority of the people in this country who use it are not black. The majority of the people who fraud it are not black.
I disagree with it. I mean, even though a lot of women don't really use it, I mean, a lot of black women don't really use it. But I'm against it because a woman should be able to do whatever she wants with her body.
Man, I don't even think he know what he's doing. Like, he's supposed to be president, but it's clear that he doesn't really know what he's doing, what he's trying to mess with. Like, Obamacare is going to kill a lot of people. If he gets rid of that, it's going to literally kill a lot of people. Planned Parenthood. If you get rid of that, you are literally going to have a lot of irresponsible people doing a lot of irresponsible stuff.
Honestly, they stupid because first of all, people don't understand Obamacare. Obamacare was the HCA. It was already established. The only reason why they called it Obamacare is because he was a black president. And they, because of the fact that they want no one to know what it really was, they wanted people to hate President Obama more, they made the name Obamacare. Everything that people have been using has been the same. They just added a label to it.
He's not the first person who did that. Is he the first? No. Is he gonna be the last? No. Get up off your ass, man. Work. Educate yourself.
Okay. So how do you, speaking of that, how do you feel about him trying to get rid of Obamacare and Planned Parenthood?
Obamacare has its issues. I mean, I heard that he was trying to replace it with something else. That's what I heard. And if what he was going to replace it with is better than Obamacare, then that's great. That's groovy. But if he's just trying to get rid of free healthcare or government-funded healthcare altogether, then then I don't agree with that.
The Obamacare thing, all they're going to do is take Obama's name off of it and put their name on it. It's basically going to be the exact same thing, but they're not about to let this black man have this legacy of creating this great thing that helps the country. So they're going to take his name off of it and put their own spin on it and have it as their own from now on. That's how I feel about the Obamacare. The Planned Parenthood, I really, really, really think that that's not going to be a good idea. I don't agree with it at all. Because you'll never see a room full of 6 or 7 women making decisions on men's genitals ever. You're never going to see that ever.
Well, honestly, the change is already happening.
Okay. Before we get to I think this is the last thing that was asked. Material Life, you still there?
Yeah, well, I want to say something.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So you know how she said you would never see a room of 6 or 7 men making decisions or women making decisions about men's genitals and stuff. I think we look at Roe v. Wade and they look at Planned Parenthood like they stopped the midst of abortion, but you also didn't realize that they also stopped the kids chopping their penises, like little boys chopping, like the whole situation where people like transgender youth and then kids were literally snipping. So now they stopped that also. Like it was a mass stop of a lot of stuff, not just like they stopped girls from having abortion, but they also stopped kids and parents that felt like they kids, the kids say they don't feel comfortable in their body, they want to be this, they want to be that, and then next thing you know, they get their whole penis chopped off. But at the time, I understand like Obamacare. Obamacare is only Obamacare on mouth, but when you look at any documentation or any paperwork or anything, none of it says Obamacare. So like they just making us upset and like everybody be riled up for something that's not true. Like Obamacare is not written on any document. I'm like healthcare.gov, like when you do your taxes, they don't say did you sign up for Obamacare? None of
Okay.
that.
Okay. Cool. Also, before
You're going to see that ever.
Before we get to I think this is the last thing I asked. What would you what would you like to see changed in the Black community? And Father, I'm gonna ask you the same question, but see if your answer still matches what you said 7 years ago. But B, what would you like to see change in the Black community?
Honestly, the thing I would like to see change in the Black community is the Black community become a Black community. Like,
ooh,
that's it. Like as of right now, people say there is a Black community, we don't. Like we're so far removed and so far separated, and we right next to each other, still separated at the same time. But I would love to see the Black community truly become a Black community. Like we have our own, we do for each other, like we have resources where it's not like, in Black people not being afraid to say Black only, like without the fear of people saying, oh, we're trying to create segregation. At this point, I don't think segregation won't be a bad thing for the Black community. Like at this point, we could establish our own, but that's all.
Okay. Father, same question to you.
You said, what would I like to see change?
Yeah.
The poverty mindset. It needs to die. And when I say poverty mindset, I don't mean being broke. I mean looking at other people based on what they got. That's a poverty mindset. You know what I'm saying? An abundance mindset looks at, the effect that somebody has on their environment, on their community, rather than simply what they can just do. Because you could do a whole bunch of shit, but that doesn't mean that it's, progressive for the Black community. So I feel like even in our business, in our social lives, in our family lives, we need to adopt a more abundant mindset. We need to stop thinking that everything requires hard work to do, and we just need to just do. And this is something that I'm trying to fix about myself, because for a long time, part of my biggest reason for not really going as hard as I wanted to was because I just didn't want to destroy myself doing the work. Because Black people, that's kind of like one of the biggest, causes of death, overwork. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it in the Black community. We work ourselves to death. And when you're working all the time, you don't really get to experience life. So, we need to, find excellence in a way that doesn't kill us. And that starts with addressing our poverty mindset.
Okay. All right. Cool. Now let's see what everybody says 7 years ago.
Honestly, the change is already happening. It is in big numbers. It's happening rapidly too. It's like it was a quick switch from, let me do my thing to, hey, how can we help each other? It was real quick.
We gotta love each other more, honestly. It's just, we gotta stop being so angry and so offensive and so defensive. We have to just chill out.
Go to Africa. Like, find out where you came from. Reconnect with your ancestors. Reconnect with your home. Come back home.
More growth, building, more love.
Pause it, please.
There you go.
Now, Ray.
Yeah.
I'm 3 for 3. I just want you to know. I'm fucking 3 for 3. I said go back to Africa, and them niggas listen. Because over 500 people gained Ghanaian citizenship, and Ghana just said if you are anywhere in Africa, you can come to Ghana basically visa free. So niggas is coming back.
I did remember that.
You know what I'm saying? Bruh, Ray, this is great. I'm glad you did this video. Don't you just love being right?
Yeah.
Ancestors, reconnect with your home. Come back home.
More growth, building, more love. I want to be able to walk outside and see the next door neighbor walk into the next door neighbor, and them two next door neighbors walk into the next door neighbor and being like, what do you need help with? What can we help you with? What can we build? What can we do to help our kids? Can we build better schools? Can we get better teachers? Because in the hood, they don't teach. They build it to where kids are graduating from high school with no dreams, no hopes nowadays.
We gotta educate ourselves, man. I gotta tell you, Ray, change not gonna come, man. You need to educate yourself, man. Like, how you gonna know how to build a house, man, if you don't know how? You don't know what the foundation is.
Pause right there.
So we gotta educate.
You know what's so crazy that they're saying that? Whoa, what the hell? Is it snowing outside?
Yeah, it should be.
In Texas?
No, it's not snowing. It's just like fog, like crazy.
Yeah, we about to get hit with a snowstorm.
It's freezing like tonight. It's cold, but it's not snowing yet. It just got foggy out of nowhere. You know what's crazy is they said like, oh, put all these educate, put all these people with knowledge. Like, Black people gaining a lot of knowledge within the past couple of years. Like, a lot of them are now like putting up these education ports and these education things, and to teach other Black people in the community and this and that. But they've gotten so expensive. They've gotten too much expensive. Like, they've overcharged us higher than the damn white people that go into the community. It's like, okay, we want to learn, we're looking to learn, but your prices is unrealistic. Then they say, well, then you can just use Affirm, you can use Afterpay, you can do that. God damn! So you want to keep us, or you want us to stay broke too at the same time? Like,
Okay, cool. I think I don't know. You know, I think it came from. I feel like it came. There was an old term they used to say, if you want to hide anything from a black person, you just put it in a book. And I think now where it's just like where not only the information is in your hands, because you know we have phones now. Now the information is in your hands. It's like you could literally go to like places just to like know information if you're really just needing to know what it is. You're just a Google search away now. So hopefully, my thing is, it's just like the education is big to me, and I think B said it himself, and I'm saying this now. I feel like whatever we bake, whatever we produce, we really need to put our name on it, and like us make money off of it instead of other races, because we shouldn't be the ones inventing stuff or making stuff that people use in the future, and yet we're not getting the fucking uh money for it or some shit like that, or we sell it to like big products, and they're the ones that get real paid for it, while they give you like what they think it's worth, and then they make double that amount. So I just want to see more like us, getting money and putting it in the community. That's just me, but let's continue.
Ourselves, man.
Well, I would like to see the black community. I would like to see them be more open-minded. Black people, especially in the past, have been very closed-minded. It's like they're a hive mind.
What I say to every black person that ever watches is like, find out where you come from, because Africa will welcome you with open arms.
I like to see them expand their minds and expand all together. Like, for example, like when you see white people, there's a whole bunch of different ways to be white. You can be like businessman, very professional. Like you can be a punk rocker, you can be emo, goth, you can be skateboarder type of dude, surfer. And those are all valid ways to be white. I mean, some are more accepted than others, but no one's going to say, "Oh, you're not white."
I just like to see more growth. More growth. I feel like we do need to go back to our roots. It's not that hard to find out where you came from.
One thing I realized is this: back in my grandparents' day, they used to have 13 kids. And when my mom was born, she had kids; they couldn't even make past 5. Now my generation makes it to the point where marriage is going obsolete. It ain't even about getting married and having kids. It's all about baby mamas, baby fathers, all deadbeats. Our generation is destroying it, and our community need to rebuild it. Our community needs to bring that back, that family loving back.
America doesn't have to be the only place that you can call your home. You have a whole continent full of people that look like you. Find yourself, man.
And we need to realize that, this ain't going to be a cakewalk. Shit's going to have to get done. And we're going to have to do things that we're not comfortable with doing. Like, I'm sure Martin Luther King didn't want to get up every day and march. He wouldn't stay in his bed and chill. But he had to make a change. So I think us as black people, especially because we're the main, like, we're the most talked about thing right now. So I feel like us as a community, us as a group should come together and do what we have to do to make a change, whether it be violent, obviously, or something peaceful, or making like petitions or something. We have to do something.
We have so much control of the world, so much influence over the world, we don't even know it. Because you don't care to know it. Because it's not popular. It's not. The thing about black people, some black people want things easy. Sometimes I do, I'm not going to lie. But it's not going to be like that. You got to read and educate yourself, man. The community, the hood always going to be there. Black people going to be there. We got to educate ourselves. We got to come together. We got to build, bro. We need black businesses, man. Like, we need, like, I'm talking about real businesses. Like, all these black girls buying all this hair, but ain't no black hair company. I don't understand that. We're the number one consumer, but we'll put money in these Caucasian people's pockets and these Asians and these Iranians, but we don't put money in our own pocket.
A lot of the popular YouTubers, they're doing the ancestry where they're finding out where they're from. So I feel like more people should be influenced to do that so that we can have more of a grounds of who we are, where we came from, what we should do to expand and be the leaders that we're meant to be.
Because until we bring that family loving back, we are just going to be black people who live in the same area.
And that was it. So again, what do y'all think? How do y'all feel?
Oh man, what are you 7 years old ago? Your is a lot has changed within 7 years. A lot has changed. But I don't know if the change was as good as we thought it was. So I don't know. For 7 years, it felt like the world was going up, and then the COVID happened. But now they're talking about there's a new sort of teaching sickness that's about to be activated. So I don't know. This was good though, because it just showed us exactly 7 years ago we got nowhere, and we're about to restart and start it all over again. It shouldn't be funny, but it's funny because we're at the same place we were 7 years ago.
All right, camera's rolling.
Yeah, keep going. Was that it?
Yeah, no, that's all I realized we're at the same spot we were 7 years. Only difference is inflation wasn't there 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm. There's one thing I'm proud I did was I saved everybody's raw footage without the music in the background, so I could always just like, if I ever, I'm not going to redo it, but if I ever wanted to like redo it or cut it up, I could just like go back to it and then like chop up some things. But Father, how you feel? How you feel watching this 7 years later and looking at yourself and calling everything?
I just want to thank my Lord and Savior. I just want to thank God. You know, I'm simply just a vessel. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't my knowledge. This come from the Most High. So, you know, as his child, it's my responsibility to make sure that, you know, everybody is hip. You know what I'm saying? Especially my people, because, you know, black people, we the closest to God. You feeling what I'm saying? Like, we the right hand of God. So we gotta know this shit. This is our heritage. You know what I'm saying? Like, the white people didn't give you religion. We were the fucking religion. They just flipped it and reversed it. You know. So
Father, I didn't realize you say you know what I'm saying a lot until like I noticed it today.
Oh, say it again. I'm sorry.
I didn't realize you say you know what I'm saying a lot until today. I was like, the Father always say that a lot.
Yeah, that's my you know, that's my catchphrase.
I never knew that until today. Yeah, I was like, the Father always say that. I was like, now I tell the truth.
No, but like the reason is because people, and Ray is a witness to this. A lot of people usually misunderstand my words. They niggas be thinking I say one thing and niggas be thinking I be saying like 10 other things I didn't say.
They probably feel like you think you better than them.
Hey man, that ain't got nothing to do with me.
There's that
Like I
black
said,
people.
I'm just a
Black
messenger.
people be competing with black people for no reason.
Yeah, like I'm not in competition with nobody. Like the fuck, I don't give a fuck about you.
Mhm.
You know, like, yeah, I don't know, man. Some people just weird.
Yeah, but you know, black people that's never been to Africa or don't know exactly where they're from in Africa, they'll feel like they're competing with a true African who knows exactly what part of Africa they're from and who they are. So then they get black people have this competition mindset,
You want to
like
know
who
what's
the
funny about that material life? You know, a lot of us come from mixed heritages too, as Africans, because Africa is the most diverse continent on the planet. You know what I'm saying? So, like, a lot of my people is mixed with like different types of people. Like,
mm,
for example, one of my mom on my mom's side, I'm Ewe, and Ewe. Originally, we weren't even in Ghana. Originally, the Ewe people were in the border between Benin and Nigeria. We were closer. We was close with the Yoruba. That's why we shared like a little bit of words with each other and shit like that. So, like, you know, we all a mix of something. All it really just did was just drop us off in different parts. You know what I'm saying? But like technically, because like let's say somebody's from Jamaica, right? Like ethnically, a Jamaican is very similar to like a Ghanaian or like a Nigerian and shit like that. That's why our cultures get along so much. You know what I'm saying? Because of that history, because of that that cultural rendition. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why it has to be a competition where we all come from the motherfucking same place. So them niggas, they're the ones that don't know history. You know what I'm saying? And you claiming to be a black person. Yeah, if you a black person, then understand your fucking history. Because your history is your identity. You know what I'm saying? Like
they
they just
won't.
being goofy.
Black people, it's weird because we could be the laziest group of individuals. We could be the most critical. We could be the most educated. We could be the most ignorant, and we still one people.
So you want to know? There's a saying for that. What you just described, material life, and the saying is the brightest of lights will always cast the darkest of shadows. So when we do things really, 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 really good, we also can do things really, 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 really bad.
I definitely agree with that. Especially what's been shown in the past 2 years. It's like we do real good shit, and then we show real bad shit. So
And it's gone.
But yeah, I'm actually proud of what I did. Like I said, like I was saying, it needs B-roll, and that's mostly what it needs. But other than that, I'm proud of what I did, and like just doing one of those projects. And like I said, I always wanted to do another one of those. It's just like so. Like I've been trying to like I have questions written down. I got so many questions written down for this one that I did for the last one because like just doing it, it was just like I didn't know like I didn't even know if people was going to show up. The fact that they showed up, I was like happy. I was just happy off of that.
But is it going to be easier to get people now that let's be honest, digital footprint is real. Like we don't seen a lot of people lose their job for some old digital footprint. So it's like, will people show up and feel like, or would they be honest, or would they be willing to say what they would have said? Like versus like 7 years ago, some people were saying stuff that today they wouldn't be comfortable to say.
yeah, you're definitely right because I definitely see people get fired for tweets or something that they said 7 years ago. The funny thing about this video, though, I don't think anybody said anything wild or out of the ordinary. Not even Yuli. I think everything Yuli was saying was just like out of excitement
No,
or
whatever
like.
was
Go ahead.
definitely
Go ahead.
nothing crazy. He said exactly like let's be honest, like nobody, no parent or no even gay parents say that they don't want their kids because like no one wants that for anybody's children. Like the fact is, regardless of how much we think the world has shifted, the world still ain't shifted. Not a single place. People just have been accepting and just don't care. But at the end of the day, people are still who they are. Like so, it's like he didn't say nothing crazy. What's crazy is when somebody gets fired for saying was like joking like Kevin Hart when did the Oscar thing, where like he can't do it because he had. Everybody used to talk about gay people. They talk about straight people. They talk about crackheads. That was just the norm. But like, I guess when you can't be seen is different versus like when you now can be seen.
You know, I think that's the beauty part. But um, like I said, though, as far as everybody in this video, I think everybody, no one really said nothing wild. And if you really look at it, most of the things that they were saying has happened, especially Father. Most of the stuff Father is like he was 3 for 3, like he said. Everything he does said doesn't happen. But I feel like even like if people look at this video, they didn't say nothing or wasn't wild and they didn't say nothing out the ordinary that I've seen people like real be like, oh man, you really. But I did think about it, but I feel like some people, I think they know. I think we as adults, and I'm just saying this. I could be wrong. I think we as adults, we understand that we could get our point across without having to sound controversial at times. So I feel like if people are participating, I think they know that if they're trying to give their honest opinion, yet know that what they're going to say. Some people that's what I'm saying. Some people will say anything and just not give a fuck, and they'll just crash out and some shit like that. But I feel like most people, usually when they do interviews, they just want to give their best foot, or they'll give their advice, or they'll give their opinions on things. But I think they know how to like say what they need to say without sounding too out there or some shit like that. So I don't know. I do, like I said, like hopefully I get to a point because I do want to start filming some of these joints. I want to have some test runs or have some test runs with some videos or something like that. I'll probably try my little sister. I always use her as a guinea pig anyway. But I want stay this year. Is this
The about that street week?
I could. There's well, most of yeah, I could. Depends on who's interested though. That's it. I don't. I know my sister usually go for the networking. I usually just go to take pictures. I fuck with people there though, but I usually just go to take pictures. But that could. But if I'm doing this, I know I have to put myself out there a little bit more. So.
Yeah, street interviews and ask them those questions. They're afraid they're gonna crash out.
So, any last words that y'all want to say before we close out this after party?
I was right.
Material life, you got anything to say before we close out this after party?
Crazy is 7 years ago. You would think the world has gotten better within 7 years, but it also hasn't changed within 7 years. So I pray that this next 7 years, like I don't know, we grow, we really grow. Like I don't want the black community to be right back where we were 7 years later. I pray we really grow in this next 7 years. Cause people, but there was like Hellcat, like we really remained broke at the same time. It was like he was like a bunch of people was making six figures. They was making millions of dollars, seven figures, blah blah blah. Blah. But then when you look here, like, what do you have to show for it? None of them bought properties. None of them bought like educated. Like they were selling out e-guides, like electronic guidebooks on bare minimum. And I'm just saying, wow, we grew and we didn't grow at the same time. Now people got to get regular jobs, and they don't know how to do that. They so embarrassed to get regular jobs after you done been bragging so long about being a millionaire. But that's it.
All right. Like I said, if I hope I could get this done this year. I already started setting up some things. I already have my questions set up. I got so many questions that I haven't even got to everything that I feel like I have so many questions now than I had back then. And yet I still want to make it like conversational, like, but I do would like to at least say I've done a project today in this year that I worked on. But I would like to thank Father and Material Life for joining us on the after party. I would like to thank anybody that's came through and see what 7 years look like in a whole time frame. So, with that being said, he is Father, she is Material Life. I am Ray. This is the after party. I'm signing out. Peace.